show, the fast 5 things you need to know. We'll start your day off swirly, it's the toast. I sound amazing.
Welcome back to the Toast. Happy hump day. And I am sitting down with, of course, someone I would love to hump, but you and I've got a couple of humps ourselves. It's Shannon Ford.
It's so true. There's been so many humps this week and we're taking them like champs, but they're humps nonetheless.
I meant our bellies. I meant our bellies and our breasts. Like, I just meant we have humps.
Oh
We've
my,
got lady
you're
lumps.
so right. And from someone speaking that never had lady lumps or humps, it's kind of crazy.
Do you like it, or you finally understand why we've been complaining this whole time? Like, big boobs stink, big belly's not my favorite. Big butt's not my favorite.
Well, my butt is somehow inverting itself, so I haven't experienced that. But do you know that when I got my boobs really early on in pregnancy, which Taylor was like, that's crazy. Like, mine didn't come till I got milk. I was like, slay these titties. I think it lasted a week. Like maybe truly a week before I was like, I want to slice these off my body. And everything the big titty community has said is correct. And I feel so bad because I've always been like, oh, poor you have big, gorgeous tits. And now I'm like, oh no, your life is hindered.
Your life is hindered. I'm so glad that you've seen both sides. You've seen like both sides of the coin, and you can agree with us that like it is not what it's cracked up to be.
No.
It is not my favorite one.
And with the big belly and toe as well, they just rest on my stomach like an orangutan. And I just hate it. I hate it. I hope they go back to the itty bitties that they were. I know it'll be a while.
I look forward to seeing how big they get when you breastfeed, like, or when your milk comes in. I don't know if you're going to breastfeed. I'm not going to like put that on you.
I'm hoping to exclusively breastfeed. That would be amazing. And so I fear. I have nothing but fear.
Well, I'm excited because then you'll really, like, we really need to give you a big dose of big titty so that you will never again tell us we're wrong for complaining.
You're right. I always do this.
Like, you haven't experienced enough yet. Make them bigger.
Make them bigger. Oh my
Crank
God, I shudder to think when people say stuff like, oh my gosh, if I could give you half of mine, I'd be like, okay, bring it on. Or they say stuff like swimsuits. I started saying stuff about, I was buying swimsuits and I don't need to go up in too many sizes. So I've just been trying to kind of like wear what I have. And I used to roll my eyes when people would be like, what is this thing? This wouldn't even fit over my nipple. I'd be like, okay. Now I say things like that. Like Taylor would be like, you can borrow this. And I'm like, this little thing, this wouldn't fit over a nipple. Like, it's crazy.
It's a natural cycle.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we've convinced you. You look pargelicious today. You always do.
Thank you.
Literally look like Andy Anderson from How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, pregnant edition.
Yellow is new for me. I'm really trying to channel my inner Jackie and wear more colors as a redhead, like, pale pinks and yellows. Like this color did not exist in my closet. And I'm trying to branch out because it actually does suit us so nicely, which I should have known by looking at you. But
it does. Well, people would think that like pinks and redheads don't go. And maybe if I got my colors done, someone would be like, no, this color's not suiting you. But like, it's just become a part of me that like, I wouldn't even be able to recognize if it does. There are certain shades of pink. Even the one I wore yesterday is not like my go-to shade of pink, but it's just a cute top. But I love pale pink. What were your used to be go-to colors? You love like a forest green.
Yeah, I'm a big green, blue, purple, white, and black.
Jewel tones.
Yeah,
jewel tones,
that's
and
it.
I'm pastel tones.
But that's actually not my color wheel. My color wheel is like pastel tones. And so I'm trying to migrate. And when I look at myself, I says, you look great. You look great.
You do look great. You do look great. How are you feeling? We know you've been sick. You've been through it.
Yeah, I really, as James would say, I don't know if this is like a British saying, but they always say, oh God, you're going through the walls. You've been through the walls. The wars.
I figured.
Yeah. But then I realized it kind of
unless
sounded
you were
like
going through the walls.
Well, I was just like, it kind of sounded like walls, actually. Yeah, there's just been so many ailments, but that would happen anytime I'm supposed to be podcasting in person with you, which I would have loved to have been in Florida right now with you.
Oh yeah, we had such big plans this week. People don't even know Shannon was supposed to come down to Florida. She was going to stay in my house. We were also going to do like a little hotel staycation, and we were going to podcast for a number of days together, just like living the life of Pargy.
Yeah, Pargy podcasting in person was the plan.
While pregnant. And Shannon fell ill, and so she couldn't fly. So that's why also this week it's actually been a really great week, and everything's totally worked out. And you know what? Like, and I'm never going to push a pregnant mama. Like, I'm never going to be like, Shannon, you said you'd be like, ever.
No, you have
Shannon, you stay home.
You've been magnificent. It's mostly a sinus thing, which if you guys are like, gosh, your co-host sounds like Donald Duck. Like, it's just sinuses during pregnancy. I didn't realize how elevated they can really get. And it just got to a point where I was like, if I fly, my eardrum will burst. Like, if I fly, this would just be crazy. And you know what? You've had some pargelicious guests that I have thoroughly enjoyed, really to my core. So it all worked out for the best. I'm here virtually for a lovely day and we're going to crush it. It's going to be pargelicious.
It is. It's going to be incredibly steamy and toasty because we will do pop culture, and I know you care about pop culture. So like hopefully
deeply
the meat of the pop culture, like sometimes there's more meat on the bone. Sometimes there's less. It just really depends on the guest. So I think you're going to get like typical elk of toast here today. But I make no promises because one thing about me and you, we are chatty. And one thing about me, like I'm interested in conversation with friends. Like if the convo is a flowing, we ain't doing the fast
We ain't slowing. No, it's true. And then we will also get to have 2 podcast hosts at the same time who might speak through frogs in their throats. So everyone will be just like so jazzed.
And they're pregnant and they're redheads. We talk about a lot how we're both redheads, and like growing up we could have never been friends because like I couldn't be seen next to another redhead.
Isn't that crazy? Like diabolical. Like there was like, you know, one other redhead that went to my high school and she was gorgeous and I was like, like it was like,
weren't you gorgeous? Like you were Miss Teen USA.
I wouldn't say people would look back at me in high school and be like, that girl was gorgeous. Like, I think I did pageants and I won a lot of like personality points. And whenever I had my hair and makeup professionally done at 17, like, but even like when I won Miss South Carolina teen, like if you looked at the lineup, the girls were prettier. I just had the personality, honey. And when you're a teen, they kind of care about that kind of stuff.
Personality higher.
A personality higher. They care more about your personality and being cute and fun when you're a teen versus like when you were like a miss. They're like, who the fuck is the hottest? And also it's kind of smart, but like who's hot?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. When I think back to like elementary school, high school, like anyone in my class who was like a model, like a child model, they were like totally nice looking, but they weren't like the most gorgeous person in the class. Like they just like were doing modeling, you know, but then they were nice looking.
Right.
But it was just like, that didn't automatically make them like the most beautiful. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think
I was the most beautiful?
Because I was the most beautiful. Do you think they still do? You know, superlatives. Did you guys have that at your Jewish high school?
We did, I think.
Okay. I know you guys are obsessed with high school like culture, and so obviously I went to like a very classic high school
like movie.
Yeah, like totally. And the superlatives, I think back, I'm like, I think they're all too woke to do the stuff we did. We had best looking. Like we had like someone won best looking.
What were you?
Not that, but I will say I won I won 2 superlatives and they reached out to me and said, you're only like, we can only give you one. Which one would you prefer? And it was best dressed or most likely to end up on TV one day. And I chose best dressed because I thought I'd put a lot more work into that.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. And you also were the best dressed and you were the most likely to end up on TV one day because life took you to reality television and then to podcasting.
Yes, that's true.
People don't, I feel like not enough people know that Shannon Ford's breakout role was on Very Cavallari.
Not enough people know.
Not enough people. I genuinely forget that about you.
Wait, really? I thought you were being sarcastic.
Yes. No, I watched the show too when it was live.
Wow.
And like, let's not find those episodes because I don't want to know what I said about you.
No, it's, you know, they still play reruns and people are all the time like, reruns, get that check, queen. I'm like, I don't make residuals from this shit. Like they paid us $1,500 an episode back then, which obviously, you know, it was a springboard to the current life I have. So I'm forever grateful. But it's just crazy because I feel like that's a marker of success if people remember you as something else other than like the girl that was on Very Cavallari. But I actually feel like everyone is always like, you were on that Kirsten Cavallari show.
No, and what's so funny is like we talk about Kristen a lot on this show. I'm actually like a big fan of hers, but then I have to like be like, wait, my best friend's got beef. Like,
no, we don't have beef anymore, really.
I know, but like from the show, like she fired you. So I'm like, wait, maybe I can't stand so hard.
No, like we'll stand a little less. No. It's
stand a little less.
It's great. We're very cordial. It's fine.
I know. I figured, and also it is like TV, and it was very much
so long ago
dramatized
for sure.
But sometimes I remember that
we were really beefing.
You were.
Yeah, we were really beefing.
because you weren't doing a good job as the social media manager.
No, I was doing a very, very, very bad job. And now that I'm
Were you
older,
doing a bad job on purpose? Like, why were you doing a bad job, Shannon? You're a hard worker.
Sometimes I was doing a bad job to play it up on TV. Like, oops, I forgot to do this. But like, I would say if you had to put a percentage to it, 85 to 90% of the time, I was just doing a bad job. I had all the crux to have like the ideas and the creative, but I actually didn't have the like sit down and do it. Yeah. So hard worker, I think when it's something to do with me, and she was spot on. I mean, at the end when she fired me, she was like, she cares more about her own shit than my shit. And I was like, true. Like, yeah. But I was 22. Not that that's an excuse. You should all like do your job at 22 that you're hired to do and paid to do. But I look back at that now and I'm like,
you're gonna get fired.
Come on. Happens. Yeah, I'm a great story to tell. I'm like a cautionary tale. Like if you don't do your job at 22, like you could get really fucking fired.
But you're also an inspiring tale because I think you were then set off in the right direction to work on Shan things.
Yeah. And like, I do love one, like the only bit of shade that I will always throw that I'm like, ha, is like one of like her big like punch up lines at the end when I got fired. She was like, and you know what? Good luck with your next boss, Shannon, because I'm sure you're going to have the same problems. And I'm always like, never had another boss. Right. Actually, you guys, TTN.
Us. And I can say we don't have the same problem. Shannon is a very hard worker. She's always doing episodes, even though she's like always like sick and the world is working against her, and she always crushes it.
Yeah, I've been speaking to you guys about getting a Jewish evil eye necklace or bracelet or something. I need some protection in my life.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm wishing you well in all of your various ailments, but you would never know it today, and you sound great, and I just like want you to be well and have calm and peace. How are you feeling in this stage of pregnancy and life?
I don't want to jinx it, but like my pregnancy's been great. Like I really wasn't I was very nauseous in the beginning. I cracked up when you posted like, oh my God, I posted my Crunchwrap Supreme and then everyone was tagging me in their Crunchwrap Supremes and I wanted to die. No, that's how I felt. Like I had a very big aversion to like meat related things and just like people were posting their foods and I was like, go to jail, like go to hell. Anyone posting their food, which is so ironic because I post my food all the time. And no one was even posting particularly nasty things. They were just posting, their meat and threes. And I was like, disgusting. But that kind of really alleviated the second I got to like my 14 week, whatever week it was. I saw the light at the end of the tunnel and then I got there and all of a sudden I woke up and I was like, I can drink my coffee again. I want a steak and potatoes. I love chicken. Like everything kind of just alleviated. And I never was actually throwing up, which was nice.
That is nice. I made steak last night, which is like kind of major. I barely been cooking.
I saw that. Well, I saw that you were just eating meat. And I was like, wow.
I was eating meat because also like our meals for the week are kind of dictated by what kosher meat they have at Publix that day. Yeah. Because sometimes, most of the time they just have chicken breast, but like they had these pepper steaks and Zach bought them. So I was like, okay, it looks like we're having pepper steak and onion because what else do you make with that?
Yeah, it's very fajita vibes. Right.
Fajita vibes. And now I want to make that with chicken. That's what I'm thinking for tonight.
That would be great. Also
that's Claudia's favorite meal. We call it chicken rocks in our house. I didn't realize it was just chicken, steak, and onion.
Why do y'all call that chicken rocks? Because chicken rocks, or it's like the chicken looks like rocks?
The chicken looks like rocks.
Okay.
The chicken looks like rocks.
I'm not kidding. I've been really wondering.
It's like what we've called it since like our brains could only form the words like chicken rocks. Like since we were wee little.
Yeah.
But now it's chicken rocks. But chicken rocks, man.
Chicken rocks.
Rock on.
Poultry. I've been good other than just like sinus stuff and like I don't know, like random rashes. Things are just elevated. Being a ginger and being pregnant, but other than that, I feel good. My coccydynia comes and goes. I'm standing in solidarity with Turdy there. Was diagnosed with coccydynia, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that doesn't exist, and that's made up and it's fake. And then sometimes I'm literally like, my coccydynia, like it's like so bad.
I'm glad that they gave you guys a big name to accompany the ailment so you can feel validated in your pain.
Yeah, I know you believe more in the sciatica of it all, which is fine.
I have sciatica, and because I ran out of like my magnesium, something like I got to the bottom of the jar, and then I was in New York, so I didn't order a new one. So I probably went without magnesium for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and so I'm in a not great spot.
Oh yeah, you fell off the wagon. You got to get back on.
I've got to get back on, and I know it's like I'm privileged that I've never experienced coccydynia.
Yeah.
Bitches are crazy. And actually, some toasters, because we said, like, if
which
you've
one's
had
worse?
coccydynia and sciatica, like, which one's worse? And they said sciatica, but Claudia, in her pregnancy, like, got sciatica too, and she said coccydynia is way worse. But of course she's going to say that.
But she would say that. But you know what? I think coccydynia kind of like hits you out of isn't sciatica more of like a radiating, like constant pain?
Yeah, it's like, but it also was like really bad when I like try and get up from my seat.
You might have
Or if
coccydynia.
I might. I don't think that I do because like literally, and it's so weird. Claudia and I both had tushy problems at the same time. They came about at this stage in our life. And we're like describing our pain and it's not the same thing.
Yeah, when I described it to Claudia, because I think she wanted to really make sure that I was allowed to join the club of coccydynia, and she was like,
she gatekeeps for
yeah,
sure.
She was like, that's my ailment.
Yeah.
But she was like, that's coccydynia. And I was like, well, here we are.
But on the other hand, I do think like you're good for the movement. I think you're good for the cause because you raise a lot of awareness.
Right.
You're very charitable.
Yeah.
And I would want you on the board of my ailment as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been fun to be pregnant at the same time as you guys, although you and I both spoke about how we don't really feel like we were pregnant with Claudia.
Yeah.
But she was like a really fun cheat code for me because her and I are very honest with each other. So I would text her, probably annoy the fuck out of her, and just ask so many questions because she had already experienced them. And she was on a really nice timeline ahead of me so that she hadn't like just experienced, she had like some time frame with it. And
yeah.
she was able to tell me that kind of stuff. Versus it's hard for me to compare with my best friend. People would be like, what about your best friend who has 3 kids?
Yeah, what about Taylor? 3 kids.
But she
like,
has
home birth.
She has HG when she's pregnant, which is horrible. If you guys know what that is, you're violently ill for the entire 9 months. So it's really hard because I'll ask her stuff and then I'll be like, why am I even asking her? She's going to be like, I don't know, I was dying.
Right.
It's not a good Richter scale.
It's not apples to apples.
Mm-hmm.
Understood. Okay, well, I'm always here for you if you need me. I feel like we've had
so
like
much.
similar elk of pregnancy symptoms.
100%. Thank you for being here for me.
I'm always here for you, Shani. Shani, we were gonna have so much fun this week. That's what the kids called her, Shani. When she stayed with us. You stayed with us recently with James.
Yeah.
And they said he sounded like Paddington.
Yes, he sounded like Paddington. Oh my gosh, the boys! I really was looking forward to seeing the boys. We would have just had the best of times, but no. It's for the best that I'm here, and I miss the boys. They'll only just miss me more.
It's true, they will, and then you'll have to come back one day with Bebe, and do you think your child will have a little bit of an accent? Is that how that works?
No way. I mean, it's going to be growing up in the South. It's probably going to sound more Southern than me. You know?
Oh, true.
Like it's your environment. Like it might say different words. Like it might randomly call the trash the bin, and people will be like, "What are you talking about?" But it's not going to have a British accent. Like you are a product.
It's going to have a Southern accent using British words. Be like, "You've been through the wars."
Yeah. Excuse me. No, it's so funny because it is going to like say these things, and your inflection will really start to change.
Yeah.
People call me out on it, but I'm like around James 24/7. But I'll be like, should we go to the store? And people are like, you just said that British. And I'm like, no, I didn't. But the inflection in my voice said it British.
Wow. So do you have more sympathy now for people like Dorit Kemsley and Meghan Markle and like Madonna, who sort of shapeshift in their vernacular and people say they're like putting on, or like Lindsay Lohan when she was like living internationally and speaking differently? Like,
I don't think
is that a real thing?
I don't think anyone has ever thought to me like, girl, you're literally trying to sound British. My really close friend. No, I don't actually have sympathy for them. I feel like they're like putting things on a little bit. But I truly just, it's sometimes my inflection and I always catch it. I'm always like, oh shit, that just sounded like it's they go up when we go down. We'd be like, do you want to go to the movies? And they'd be like, do you want to go to the movies? It's like that.
Okay, I understand. I feel like it would be so hard not to pick up on that. I pick up on everything everyone around me says. Like even my children, I speak like them. That is not my favorite one. Like I was trying to have a call yesterday with someone and say I didn't like something was not to my liking. And I was like, all that could come out of my mouth is that's not my favorite one.
You would love it. That's like, I have to like not.
It's either not my favorite one or you will love it.
I don't like you. Like I have to like not say things. And those are just toastyisms. Like I was not there when that child said that. But like, It's really hard for me not to use those verbiage in everyday life where it's like, I don't know, not appropriate. You're like in a corporate meeting and I'm like, I don't like you. You would love it.
Even the way Zach and I talk to each other, like the way Harry says, I did, or
Yeah.
I did.
I did.
So, Zach, I'll be like, Zach, did you do the dishes? I did.
I did. Taylor's kids, well, one of them particularly always goes, I'm scared. If she's scared of anything. And so now anytime we would say like, I'm scared, like if I was just like, I don't know, I'm scared of it, I'd be like, I'm scared.
Sometimes Zach and I will be having like a serious conversation or even like a fight, and like one of us will slip into talking. I did. It actually like diffuses.
It's great. Yeah, I was
like,
gonna say,
we're like just laughing, and we're like, okay,
that's a great
on.
diffuser. What are the stories like today? Are they good? Are they bad? Do we come with some like heat or what?
The stories are good. Some of them are like ongoing stories from like what we've been discussing. So I look forward to getting Shani's thoughts. I
didn't want to cheat. I was going to text you, and I'm not trying to rush through the Fast Five banter, but I was curious. And then I was like, don't ask her. Let this be your true moment as a Toasty co-host. Okay.
Well, a little behind the scenes tea is when I do have a co-host, I will give them the story. Some people ask for them like immediately.
Sure.
They're like, I want to know what we're talking about. They want to be prepared, and they get like a little worried. And then sometimes I just like, when I sit down with the person, I'm like, by the way, these are the stories. They're like, great, especially if they do pop culture. Nothing about today's stories is surprising or controversial, and you're a professional. So I thought it would be fun to do the Claudia, where it's like you don't know what the stories are.
Of course. And you know what? I really
We're doing textbook toast today. Even like the cadence, if we slip into the stories soon, like it's giving textbook toast.
It's giving Turdy's replacement. No, never. Relax. I really genuinely try not to abuse my like friendship privileges with you guys, because I really enjoy being a toaster. Like I could have texted, I didn't know when the birth story was coming out, and I was like, I'll find out on Patreon with the rest of them. Like I am such a fan of the toast, such a fan of you guys, but also the caveat is we're real life friends. So I try to like, not abuse my friendship privileges and just let the toast happen.
No, but like a major perk is like if we say something on the show where it's like one of those situations where we're texting each other on the show and being annoying and secretive, like you text us and you're like, what was this?
Who the fuck were y'all talking about? 100%. Yeah.
And like we always will tell you, and that must be nice.
That's really nice. That's a nice little perk.
Yeah. And I'm sorry for the rest of you that you don't get it. Like I wish I could tell everyone all of our secrets.
And like I don't have to really dive deep for lore. Like if I didn't understand you would love it. I didn't know the origin story of that. So I just shot you a text like, where does you would love it come from? And Claudia's like, oh, that's because la la la. And I didn't have to like really go through and like try to find it.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
It's definitely like a cheat sheet, which is nice.
Agreed.
Well, we're going to get into the Fast Five stories now that you do need to know. And today's episode of The Toast is brought to you by Taylor Farms, because Taylor Farms is a Pargy brand, sponsoring a fellow Pargy brand. We love Taylor Farms chopped salad kits. It is so easy to get your salad together. They come pre-chopped, pre-washed, no chopping, slicing, or leaving half a vegetable in your fridge. They are made with fresh greens, yummy dressing, and toppings, everything. Just mix it up and give yourself a round of applause. So yes, everything in the kit is made for a perfect salad. They have sweet kale, Caesar, avocado ranch, Mediterranean crunch. But then you could also add some protein on top, add a hard-boiled egg, like whatever you're feeling. You can really customize it and make it your own. And that's what I personally love to do.
That's what I do.
It's my go-to.
I
What's your favorite
up-level
flavor?
all of them. Like I just had their Mexican salad version, whatever it is. And I added black beans. I added corn. I added avocado. And all of a sudden James was like, oh my God, you're the salad queen. And he had no idea that it came from a Taylor Farms bag.
Right, and that you didn't even get out your cutting board, but that sounds really good. I want to have a Mexican street corn one with like taco meat, corn, beans.
It was so good.
I'm not really mixing meat and cheese at the moment.
Would be a great side for your fajitas that you're making.
It would be for chicken rocks. Yep. Oh my God, Shannon. It's so early in the episode to be getting so hungry. But Taylor Farms salad kits are sold at all major grocery stores. So go to the salad aisle, usually made of whiz past the bag lettuce, back, stop. Pick up a Taylor Farms chopped salad kit. Have it for lunch today, at work, at home. Have it for dinner. You will love it. You will love it.
You will love it.
Grab a Taylor Farms chopped salad kit and get your salad together. Today's episode of The Toast is also brought to you by Squarespace. So I'm really glad that Squarespace is sponsoring to today's episode, because as women entrepreneurs, you need tools, and as entrepreneurs in general, but two female ones here, you need tools to make your business pargelish, and Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything from products to content to time, all in one place. So if you're starting a business, could be any sort of thing. Maybe you're not the techiest person, but every business needs a website in this day and age. It's been true for a while, and it'll be great if you have a great website. But where do you start? Do you need to hire someone? Or do you need to learn code? No. You just need to go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch that website, after you've done the free trial, poked around, seen how easy it is, go to squarespace.com/toast to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain.
Can I tell you, I use Squarespace and I just messaged someone about this for my wedding website. I use one of their templates. Still to this day, I still pay for the website because I let people see it, because everyone's like, why does yours look so pargy and mine looks so chuggy? I'm like, I use Squarespace and they made it so easy with the template.
Wow. So for business owners, brides, anyone who wants to up-level their website, and you don't want to have to go take classes at your local university, squarespace.com for a free trial, and then squarespace.com/toast to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Today's episode of The Toast is brought to you by Quince. As temperatures start rising or continue rising, I'm feeling the familiar urge to refresh my closet, but I'm not going to be wasting money on pieces I'll only wear once or just for one season. Quince changes that. Their clothes are timeless, lightweight, and far more elevated than anything else at this price. It feels like my wardrobe matches my standards. I feel like Shannon and I are both girls who like to invest, who like timeless things, not just having a bunch of disposable clothing. So Quince is the perfect brand for that, because not only are their clothes made with top quality fabric, the prices are more affordable because they work directly with factories and they cut out the middleman. So they have 100% European linen shorts and dresses from $30, luxe swimwear, Italian leather platform sandals, and so much more. And the best part is that everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands because they work directly with top artisans and cut out the middleman. They give you luxury without the markup. So Quince is a wonderful place to shop for beautiful, timeless, classic pieces. I feel like everyone wants a capsule wardrobe. They want things that will last. We're kind of done with disposable clothing and trendy things, fast fashion. Quince is where you need to go to really invest but not break the bank on timeless pieces that will last you. So give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/toast for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/toast to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/toast. Thank you to Quince. Our first story of the day, it feels so wrong to report on this while Claudia's out, but we have a job to do.
But you guys are going to do an episode where you recap all the stuff she missed, which is great.
Yes, this is a big one. This one, we might have called for an emergency episode of The Toast, but not exactly. Tarek El Moussa cited for battery following a heated physical altercation in a Las Vegas casino. Tarek was cited for battery after he allegedly knocked a man out in Las Vegas last week. The HGTV star and another male were involved in an altercation at the Palazzo at the Venetian Resort in Sin City on June 5th. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department confirmed to Page 6 yesterday. Witnesses alleged to TMZ, who was the first to report the news, that they saw Tarek deliver a knee to the man's head, which knocked him out cold.
God.
An onlooker claimed to the outlet that the incident was bad, adding that the guy looked seriously hurt. The alleged victim reportedly refused medical attention. A source told Page 6 that Tarek was protecting his elderly father after the man allegedly got out of line with Tarek's dad. Okay, so that's Tarek's side. Okay. Cops arrived at the scene around 11 p.m. and took a crime report. Though they declined to arrest Tarek, he was cited for battery.
Now, I will say, and I am very deeply sorry that Claudia is not here to speak on this, in the beginning of the story, I was like, this guy is so violent. Oh my God. But the fact that the other guy isn't pressing charges does make me wonder if there's like casino footage where he's like, oh shit, I was really dogging on this elderly man and it was self-defense and I'm gonna get screwed if I press charges. But also maybe Tarek was like in a casino, pulled out a fat wad of cash and was like, keep your mouth closed.
Right. I feel like it's not a good look for Tarek, especially because he did the hike with the gun. He did the hike with the gun, and then things got really quiet, and he's moved on in his life. And you could say, like, okay, that was a one-off thing, and like, don't judge him by the gun and the hike.
Not if you're Claudia, you could not say that.
Right. But like, it was the more time we moved on from that without incident from Tarek, like the more it just seemed like Tarek had a bad moment.
Yeah.
So when Tarek is involved in a situation like this, where it's violent, and there's a knee to the head, which like, that's fucking crazy.
That's so aggressive. Like knee, how do you even get in that position? Knee to head is crazy.
Gun hike Tarek comes out. And so you see like, okay, that person is there. Now, if this were someone else in the story, is like that they were berating the elderly father, like good, knock him out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like with Tarek, it's like it's sort of something that you have to keep in mind. Like, does he just have this like violence inside of him?
Yeah, it feels like something deep rooted that kind of just like makes itself known publicly.
Or these two situations where Tarek, like the misunderstanding of Tarek El Moussa, like he said he went on the hike and he took his gun because of mountain lions.
Okay.
And then if he's protecting his father, like once again, like is someone framing Tarek? And is it us?
I don't think so. I also just think it's interesting that these things keep happening so publicly. Like it does lend my brain to wonder, is he violent and behind closed doors? Like what are we not seeing happen? Are there knees to heads that aren't in casinos? Who knows?
Yeah. Right, because everything in the casino is on camera. And I do agree with you. Like the fact that he wasn't arrested is a check in his column, but he was cited for battery. So it's not totally innocent.
Yeah, I like, there's no more details. I want the person to come forward, but maybe they won't because they're like guilty as well.
Yeah, like what, they're coming after an old man? Also not cool.
I think if someone would love nothing more than to press charges against a famous guy that has a lot of money for kneeing him in the head and knocking him out cold. So the fact that the guy's like, I'm not pressing charges does lend me to think like maybe he was also at fault.
Yeah, I agree. It's not like the smoking gun against Tarek. It's just like unfortunate. And I guess we'll see what happens next, if anything happens next. Like if all is quiet.
It's weirdly better than the hike. Like it's oddly better because like no mountain lion could come forward and be like, yeah, I saw him with the gun and I was out of there. Like we do have this other version of like, he didn't press charges. So are we giving him a pass? Are we giving grace? Claudia wouldn't. I'll say,
really
had he punched him, I would give him a little grace. Knee to head is crazy to give grace on. Like that's crazy.
I agree. It's like a long journey from knee to head.
Yeah. Like when you watch like any kind of like violent fight scene, once I see, obviously they're all fake on movies or whatever, but like I was just watching the Lincoln Lawyer and they like get him on the ground and then they start kicking him. And I'm like, when they start kicking, I'm like, oh my God. Like that's just crazy. That is such a different level than like punching.
Than a punch, which is sort of like a reflex sometimes. Like,
right.
As opposed to, okay, let me bring your head to my knee.
Knee to head feels like very like jujitsu vibes. Like, oh, like you were thinking, like you've been wanting to do that.
Yeah, but I just want to say, if this were someone else, like I could read the story entirely differently. Like say it was a P-Jom man. Say it was Glen Powell. And he needs someone in the head who he said was like berating his elderly father. That would be like so attractive.
We would be like
go
Team Glen. Yeah, go Glen Coco, 100%. We would say that.
But Glen didn't go in the mountains with a gun and get caught. Maybe he did, but he didn't get caught.
Right.
And then he didn't like see the helicopter and said, it's me, Tarek.
Weirdly, if Glen Powell was like caught tripsing through the woods with a gun, I'd be like hot. Right. And if he was like, I'm looking out for mountain lions, I'd be like, he's protecting all of us. Like,
I completely agree. I think there's some anti-Tarek bias that we need to like explore.
We should look inward.
But I do think like exploring that without Claudia here like is fruitless because she's always going to bring us back to being anti-Tarek.
No, and I would go there for her. I really would. She'd get me back there.
Yeah, me too. Just you can't forget Tarek's arm hike.
You can't. I saw her post, or I saw Ben hold up the phone yesterday, and I was cracking up. But I kind of forgot about it being a story, but that's really funny.
Yeah, major news.
It's also funny that like if you were walking around the woods in a different state with a gun, people would be like, "Hell yeah, brother!" But like in Florida, people probably go to Publix with their guns. But
Right. But they were in California, I think, so it's like a big deal if you're just
big deal that you're hiking around with a gun. But like again, situationally,
by the way, after an argument in the woods, like there's just more to this.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Are you ready for our next story, which is a confirmation from a story that we talked about yesterday, which is that Aaron Rodgers is confirming he got married a couple months ago in a surprise wedding. So Aaron was spotted with a wedding ring on his finger. People are like, is he married? And yeah, he is. He said that he was dating a woman named Brittany, and later they sparked marriage rumors, and now he's confirming those rumors that the wedding took place a few months ago, but he did not share any other details.
He was so blasé in the interview too. He's like, they're like, what's that ring? Is that like an aura ring, or is that like, a wedding ring? And he goes, yeah, it's a wedding ring. And I was like, God, I don't know how to explain that. If like I was his wife, I'd be like, like, yeah, it's a wedding ring. And they were like, oh, how long have you been married? And he's like, a few months. Like, I'm like, like he gives me, yeah.
But I just thought he was never going to get married, because if you didn't marry Shailene, Olivia, or Danica.
I know. Isn't it crazy how recently, I feel like I always do, the news cycle gets a little old, so maybe they like repurpose stories, but I feel like I still always, at least like once bi-monthly or once a quarter, you see another article come out about one of those women being like, it was a horrible relationship and like I'm scarred.
Yeah, I think he's tough to take.
Not for Brittany.
In a personal relationship. That's what I was always say about him, that like I enjoy like following him as a celebrity, but I couldn't have a conversation with him.
Right. But you watched his documentary and you said you felt differently about him, right?
Yeah, I had like more understanding of him, and I think he's just like an interesting guy, and he's very serious, and he takes himself very seriously, and he's very committed to what he does, and so I think he's an interesting figure, but I would not want to sit down and have a conversation with him while he tells me about what he saw on his ayahuasca trip. Like, I'm good on that.
Right. Ayahuasca.
I'm good on that.
It's so crazy to think when you guys were talking about yesterday's episode with Jared, and you were like, I'm scared to lose those 10 pounds, Jared said, because he's like, what if I'm not me anymore? I think about that stuff with like really transformative drugs, because I'm someone that like will try any drug once. Obviously not while I'm pregnant. But
have you tried ayahuasca?
No, because I'm so afraid that it would like awaken a different version of me that would be like boring. Like, what if I just like lost me, like I woke up and was like, wait, I should stop interrupting people. I should really just try to be quiet more often and listen rather than speak. Like, what the fuck? Like, that would scare me so bad,
Oh, interesting. I feel like for you, and maybe for me, like I would have the experience of being like, I didn't feel anything. Like,
oh, like, really? I would just
in
puke.
All American, Jake took his dad and his girlfriend, Utah Queen, to an ayahuasca retreat. And she was like, she's all in, and she was like really excited to do it with him and be transformed. And she was like, I didn't see anything.
Do you know why I think that is for her though? I think she's like a hard bitch. Like I think she's a badass bitch who's like literally like stone. Like she's so sporty. She's so all these things. Yeah. Like she's like a brick wall of just like she could do anything and like get past anything in her life. So like it didn't even like maybe they should have given her more. I don't know. I think I would just like puke for 3 days and then also be like, I saw like crazy shit.
I would 1000% puke, and I would not like it. It would not be my favorite one.
Yeah.
I don't think anything positive would come out of an ayahuasca trip for me personally.
I don't want to do anything that I have to sit in a hut for. Like I know you have to like really take it seriously. Like you have to
have to drink that water that makes you throw up.
You have to have like a shaman, and you have to be like really like sweaty, and like it just doesn't seem like something for me. Like I would like to do like drugs of the luxury category and just like fun settings, like Ibiza, like looking cute.
Yeah.
Not like, also this is not, a pro drug forum, guys, on the toast, but I'm just saying ayahuasca wouldn't be for me.
Okay. And have you taken any hallucinogenics?
No, I've never done the amount of mushrooms you would do to see stuff. You know what? I kind of do draw the line at hallucinogenics because I'm just kind of afraid of them. Like I've never done acid. I've never done anything that would make me really like shapeshift, because I think that would like, I'm too much of a thinker. I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That would be like a bit much. So yeah, it's not on my journey.
Okay. Wait and see.
We'll
One day, you and I, maybe that's like what's next,
for us together.
Just for like in our circle, like in our journeys, like first it's sourdough,
right?
And then it's ayahuasca.
Imagine you and I just one day are like, you know what, me and Jackie should do this weekend? We should do ayahuasca together.
Yeah, I highly doubt it, but like I never thought I'd be making my own bread that's fermenting in my cupboard. Like I never thought that.
And sourdough, they do say, is the gateway drug to ayahuasca. So,
are you still doing sourdough?
I haven't. I've fallen off the wagon. I get in it and then I'm in the thick of it because it's something that you really have to stay on top of. Like,
yeah, like if you want bread tomorrow, you needed to start yesterday.
Yeah, and my starter was producing the exact amount. It was a Pargy starter I got from one of my neighbors. It was really strong and wonderful, but it was producing the exact amount to make a loaf, and then I wasn't able to have enough to like just keep a lot of it. It would be discard, and then I get a bit intimidated by reintroducing discard as starter and like refeeding it. And then I would just be like, this is too much. I'm just like, I don't feel like doing this today. I'm trying to get the nursery done. I'm trying to do so much but it is easy. If you can time it right, maybe, I know this sounds like a crazy concept, but maybe after I have my baby, I'll be on such a routine schedule that I can insert the sourdough back in there at a time that makes sense for me. But right now, it feels like I don't have enough time to do it. So I don't know why having a kid would make that easier.
No, but it puts you on a schedule. Like every day of my little things change, but like my overall structure of my day is the same. So when I'm doing sourdough, like I know when I clean up the kitchen at night that's when I'm gonna feed my starter, and then I know I'm gonna start my bread the next morning, like while the boys are having breakfast, and then when I'm cleaning up dinner is when I do my shapings. Like we just but every day is the same like that.
Yeah, and it's the temperature of it all got really like chemical and like confusing to me because I would do mine overnight where you would let it what's the word, not rise, but
bulk ferment.
Yeah, bulk ferment overnight. But James and I sleep, our bedroom is downstairs. It's the only bedroom downstairs, and we sleep, he's insane. I honestly do kind of like it, but we sleep with the house at 64 or 65 degrees. That's really cold for bread. And so my kitchen would be that temperature as well. And so I know some people are like, I keep my bread like upstairs in a closet. And I'm like, oh, this is just getting too much. Like I just like,
that's
and then
now
I
you leave the stairs.
My sourdough upstairs in its own room. Like
it's already bread that takes 36 hours. I can't walk upstairs.
Yeah. So I want to get back into it. I honestly was like pretty good at it. I learned how to make a sandwich loaf, which is a lot easier. We were going through sandwich loaves like crazy because it's so nice and easy to eat. Like you really.
So is sourdough sandwich loaf, like, do you use yeast?
It was the same concept. I used all the same ingredients, but added honey and like salt and oil, and then obviously like folded it different, put it in a different pan. But it was so much easier to use. Like sourdough is like a very chewy, you know,
you need
bread.
to get that saw out, start chopping sourdough.
Yeah, and so maybe I'll get back into the sandwich bread. We'll see.
We'll see. Our next story, Glen Powell's ex is speaking out on the actor leaning into the Sydney Sweeney romance rumors to boost the Anyone But You publicity.
Yeah.
So Glen's ex, Gigi Paris, who he was dating when Anyone But You came out, when he was rumored to be with Sydney Sweeney, she was sort of like, well, what about Gigi? It was kind of like Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga, and Irina Shayk.
Right.
Like, these two are pretending to be in love. And it's like, wait, but you literally have a lady love.
Right. And she was engaged.
So, yes. So she said on a podcast that I just wanted respect, especially if it's going to be in the public. She said, like, don't make an ass out of me. Like, just don't make a fool out of someone you've been with for over 3 years, talking about forever with. Just have some decency, you know? And at the end of the day, it was like, well, work comes first. And if that's the case, power to you. That's your priority. I got to walk away. What sucked was how it was handled. I felt like I was just fed to the dogs. It wasn't gaslighting. It was just, this is what I have to do for my job. Yikes, that's a bad look for Gwen. Because what she's saying is, like, Glenn basically said to her, like, I need to pretend to date Sydney Sweeney and pretend to be in love with her to promote my movie.
Right.
And, like, that's part of my job and you need to be okay with that. Yucky. This is when I'm like, actors are freaks.
I know. It really does paint a different light on someone that you think is like this, like Hollywood heartthrob that's also such a good guy. Like, you know, like he can carry a gun in the woods. I don't care. He's protecting all of us. Like, it really makes him look like very Leo of him, like very like yucky. I don't like that. Like, oh, he's just like the rest of them. And you kind of put Glen Powell in a different category, you know, like.
Yes. And basically what she was saying is that, like, he was leading all of us on. They were messing with us to convince us to watch their movie, like sort of manipulating the audience, as opposed to, like, if you wanted to think about the whole situation in a more naive way, it's like, well, him and Sydney just have this natural chemistry from the movie.
Right.
We got to see the movie to see more of it. And now it's like, no, he's going home telling his girlfriend, like, I have to go pretend to date the hottest girl in the world to sell movie tickets, and you have to be okay with it. And all of this is staged.
Yeah, and it's very much like, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper never came out and was like, yeah, we got you. That's what we were doing on purpose. We were all kind of just like, it was one of those things where it's like, you guys, that's where y'all's brain is going because we're just such good actors. Like, it's not our fault that we're such good actors. And they could have done that, but I looked into this yesterday when I saw the story. I tapped the little link, and I didn't realize that both Sydney and Glen on separate occasions admitted, like, yeah, that's what we were doing. Glen said, like, yeah, Sydney knew what she was doing. She's a genius. Like, the best part, like, best way to get someone to watch a rom-com is to make you think what's happening on screen is also happening off screen. And I will say, when all of this was happening, the only thing I remember was that Sydney Sweeney was engaged. And I was like, isn't she fucking engaged? But I didn't really realize he had a long-term girlfriend.
I remember him having like a girlfriend, and it's just like, oh, okay, girlfriend. Like, if he loves Sydney, he loves Sydney. And it's like he didn't even
thought it was. I'm such a double standard kind of person. Like, that's just one thing about me. And when Sydney was doing it, I was like, fuck her fiance. But knowing that Glen was doing it to a girl, I'm like, fuck him. That is so wrong. Like for Sydney's husband or fiance at the time, I was like, he can get over it. It's her job. She has to do what she has to do. But like with Glen, knowing he was doing that to like a girl he was dating for 3 years, it's just like yucky.
Yeah, it is different. For like, it's okay if like a woman does it, especially like if she's engaged or like in a long-term relationship. I just feel like you can count on women to like be committed,
right?
More so than like a man if he's like seriously flirting with the hottest girl in the world. Like, he's just a man.
Yeah, and I really, everything she said in the article, I agreed with. She was like, I just had to walk away because like that's just like not my standards. So
yeah, but good for her because it's Glen Powell.
Hard to walk
I feel like
away.
Most girls would be like, whatever you say, like, I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I would literally be like, my man's an actor. He's got to do what he's got to do. Like, catch me
You'd be
not.
telling all your friends, like, yeah, they're so
I'm
cute
so
together.
cool with it. Like, no, it's fine. Like, yeah. I love it. I amp it up. I tell him, do more. Like, that would be me.
Yeah. No, I guess that's on having self-respect.
And that's on having self-respect that I don't have if I was dating Glen Powell.
But like, I don't think for you, like, I think for most people, it would be like a lack of self-respect. Like, whatever Glen needs, this is Glen's process. He's the big star, and I'm just like so lucky to be in his presence. But I think that you do have self-respect, so maybe there's another angle.
You know, she said, all I wanted was him to say is like, no, like, I'm obviously not cheating on my girlfriend. Like, and she was like, he wouldn't say that. She was like, that's all I wanted. I just wanted him to be like, of course I'm not cheating on my girlfriend. And she's like, he could not say that. And that was when I had to dip. And I think, yeah, maybe if it got to that level, I'd be like, okay, this is kind of crazy. Because at some point you look stupid.
The next logical question is like, did they ever hook up off camera?
I think for sure.
Like, I don't know why they wouldn't have.
Yeah, I think for sure. Like, I just really to my bones, I'm like, yeah. But I always wonder that when I watch movies where there's sex scenes or whatever, especially if there are two cast members who are single, I do wonder, like, method acting, if they're like, should we just go bang one out really quick just to make sure this is, like, really, really good on camera for the sex scene? Like, I wonder if I wonder,
like, I don't think that they need to like practice hooking up, but I'm like, if you're both single and you're both attractive and you're the same level of attractiveness to be in this movie, like, why wouldn't you explore something between the two of you?
Yeah, I think not, but sometimes I feel like people are like, we're definitely not right to date each other, but like, let's really make sure that this sex scene is so fucking good. Like, let's, hit one out in the trailer and just really get it like down pat.
Yeah.
And maybe alleviate some of the awkwardness.
That's so funny.
Anyways, that's what I would do.
That's what you would do? That's
and then I'd get kicked off the set because the actor would be like, she's literally trying to bang me in the trailer. That is inappropriate. I'd be like, what? I'm a girl. You're a dude. I could say that to you, right?
No, and like no intimacy coordinator, Shannon.
Yeah, I would be like, I'd be like Jennifer Aniston. I'd be like, I'm 100 years old. They'd be like, you're 28. I'm 31. But like, I'd be like, I don't need you guys here. This is ridiculous. Let's fuck.
Cameras up. Are you ready for our next story?
I am.
It is our fourth story, and it's a little bit of rumor, which I hate to give credence to rumors, but I saw it a couple places this morning. Everyone's just saying that Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom's relationship is on the rocks. And
really?
Just like reporting that as fact. Yeah. There are rumors bubbling that Katy and Orlando's relationship is on rocky ground. One source told Page Six it's over. They're waiting till her tour is over before they split. Her tour is over in December 7th, so I guess we'll know by then. This is kind of surprise. It's surprising because they've been together for a long time and like he loves her through all of her craziness. And so I would think if you can get like to however long they've been together, that you would stay together. But everyone's reporting this fact and it reminds me of like when like Kim and Kanye were divorcing or like Lala and Randall splitting up. I'm like, no, they're not. They love each other. And then like literally the next day it's like, go fuck yourself.
I would think that if a man could stick through you saying, I'm going to put the ass in astronaut, why couldn't he
Well, maybe he couldn't.
Stick through the tour. But have you seen videos from the tour?
Yes, some, but of course only the worst ones.
Right. I'm sure there's some lovely pargy moments on the tour, but like what I've been seeing, like you really like that's like a man has to like love you to your core to like really.
But like she's always been this way.
Quirky.
So I feel like, so I feel like he loves her to her core.
What do you think it is then?
I don't know. That's why this confounds me a little bit. I'm having a hard time believing it because like neither one of them has changed. She's always been this person.
How long have they been together?
They have been together a while. They like broke up once in 2017. They had their daughter in 2020. They got engaged in 2019. But they split once in 2017. So
but they've been together at least since
on and
2016, 17.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a long time. I mean,
That's a long time. And she's been through a lot of career lulls in that time. So it's not just like, oh, she's sort of flopping and Orlando's jumping ship. Like, that's why I'm confused.
Yeah. I can't pinpoint this one because I guess I don't know the lore enough of Katy Perry, and I thought just like recently she's got because I really saw her during her career high, and I was always like, slay Katy, slay, like I Kissed a Girl and like all that teenage dream where she was like on the top of the world, and like lately I've just been watching the flop after flop after flop, and I'm like, yikes.
Yeah, but he wasn't there for any of that teenage dream. That was Russell Brand who got all those years, and then he was around for like Witness, so like Bon Appetit, Yikes Spikes, don't forget.
Right.
And then like Harley's in Hawaii. But then she had her baby.
So maybe that opened up a new side to her that he was like, wow.
Yeah, they have their child, and she wasn't working as much. And then her first body of work is 143. That's like the first thing in a few years. And now, so it's like he's not new to her being not the most popular. So
right. Maybe she's just gone all the time in space, on tour, and he's like, enough is enough.
Yeah, maybe it was because she went to space.
Yeah.
And it was just too far.
Maybe he runs the Wendy's account. And he's like, leave her there.
Maybe she was like, he loves Wendy's, and she was like, it's me or Wendy's.
100%. Like, and it's Wendy's.
Well, I do hope that this isn't true. As much as I clown on her, like I'm rooting for her, and
well, they have a
breakups
kid.
are sad.
I'm also
and families splitting are sad. So I hope this isn't true, but like I'm getting the feeling, I don't know,
where there's smoke, there's fire.
Because I'm always like, this isn't true. This is a rumor. And I'm always wrong. I'm just trying something new by believing it.
Yeah, but I'm always in agreement with you on the toast whenever you say like, I'm team stay together because you guys have children. Like, obviously I never want someone to be together in a very toxic situation. But if it's something just like where Orlando Bloom like finally got the ick, I'd be like, okay, come on, stick it out.
Work through it. Or like we're growing apart, grow in a different direction.
Like, stay home
try
more.
Harder.
Right. Agreed.
If it's like not a toxic, like violent situation, it's just like personality clashes and stuff like that. Like, I think it's worth trying more.
Does he have a kid with Miranda Kerr as well?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just used to leaving.
Oh, damn. No. It's just sad.
Because then he'll just be like the old guy that's like dating new like models and stuff. And I'm just like, no, I don't. Orlando.
It's kind of like Leo, but at least like he does give them almost 10 years, children, marriage.
That's true.
A life.
True.
Yeah.
True. Okay. I would actually like to see them stay together.
Yeah, me too. So hopefully if I think that they're not, that will mean that they are. Just like I'm trying to like
reverse psychology.
Reverse psychology. Exactly. Before we get into our next story, I need to let you know that today's episode of The Toast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.
Yeah.
From vacation rentals to hotels across the U.S., Booking.com has the ideal summer stay for absolutely anyone, even those who might seem impossible to please. Whether you're booking for yourself, your partner, your picky teens, or your sleep light, rise early mom, you can find exactly what you're looking for on Booking.com. Now, I've recently come to the realization that I have a lot of needs when I travel. I thought I was like low maintenance, but the more I think about it, no, we have needs. We need multiple bedrooms. I really like to have a kitchen or at least like a fridge in the room where I'm traveling. And like, I'm always calling up hotels to like make sure that they have like, what sorts of setups do you have? And Booking.com makes it so easy to get those things, like a big kitchen or be next to the beach or a separate room with TV so kids can watch while parents go to bed, or vice versa. You can watch while the kids go to bed. Booking.com makes it so easy to personalize your hotel stay, because hotel stays are more personal than comedy, more personal than food. And if I can find my perfect stay on Booking.com, anyone can. Shannon, are you a picky traveler?
Yeah, I am. Actually, when people ask me about going on tour, they're like, this is great. And I'm like, well, yeah, no, I'm hemorrhaging money because I'm like really into where I stay hotel wise. Like, I am picky with like, I'm at that point in my life where I want to be comfortable where I sleep. So yeah, Booking.com, being able to give you those extra amenities is really nice for someone like me who just like wants to make sure I have those things.
Yeah, like, or like Claudia needs a bathtub.
I was just about to say, like, me personally, I love a bathtub. People throw shade at me all the time. They're like, you use hotel bathtubs? I'm like, I would literally take a bathtub if it was on the side of the street, if it had water in it that was warm and I could take a bath. Like, I love a bath. I do not care.
And like when you're traveling with kids, like really little ones, like it's really
So
helpful to have
true.
a bath in the room. Hard to shower with babies, but
Yeah.
possible. Booking.com makes all these little things that will make your stay just like so much parchier and easier. They have it all for you. So find exactly what you're booking for at Booking.com.
Yeah.
Book today on the site or in the app. I love that you listen to the Toast with ads because you're like all in on the
You
lore.
can never skip them. I keep trying to find like a good way to be like, thank you, Booking. Thank you, Jack's Booking. But I'm like, it doesn't flow and I need to stop trying to force it. Thanks,
Yeah, but
Booking.Jax. Yeah. Like, it's none of them are flowing. So I was like, I'm not going to force it.
I am cracking up. You guys, today's episode of The Toast is also brought to you by Fatty 15. I'm so excited to share with you guys C15 from Fatty 15, the first emerging essential fatty acid to be discovered in more than 90 years. It's an incredible scientific breakthrough to support our long-term health and wellness, and you guessed it, healthy aging. The Fatty 15 co-founder, Dr. Stephanie Van Watson, discovered the benefits of C15 while working with the U.S. Navy to continually improve the health and welfare of aging dolphins. Based on over 100 studies, we now know that C15 strengthens our cells and is a key healthy aging nutrient which helps to slow biological aging at the cellular level. In fact, when our cells don't have enough C15, they become fragile and age faster. And then when our cells age, our bodies age too. So when you have this nutritional deficiency, it's called cellular fragility syndrome. As many as 1 in 3 people worldwide have low C15 levels and are deficient and thus have cellular fragility syndrome. C15 and Fatty 15 are working to repair all of that. Fatty 15 repairs age-related damage to cells, protects them from future breakdown, and activates pathways in the body that help regulate our sleep, cognitive health, and natural repair mechanisms that support overall health. Fatty 15 is a science-backed, award-winning, patented 100% pure C15 supplement. It's vegan-friendly, free of flavors, allergens, or preservatives. We love. Best of all, it comes in a gorgeous reusable glass bamboo jar, and refills are shipped right to your door. So Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help support your long-term health and wellness, especially as you age. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/toast and using code TOAST at checkout. Thank you to Fatty 15, and today's episode is also brought to you by TaskRabbit. Summer is right around the corner, but between beach days, weekend getaways, and backyard BBQs, your to-do list isn't getting any shorter. Remember that patio setup you promised to build by Memorial Day? The Gura outing tutorial you watched but never actually followed? The garbage disposal that's been making that sound since 2024. Enter TaskRabbit, your secret weapon for a carefree summer. TaskRabbit connects you with skilled taskers to help with moving, mounting, furniture assembly, home repairs, and more. Many taskers are available to help the same day. Why wait for you to do it when a tasker can do it instead? So TaskRabbit is just one of these tools in my toolkit that makes me superwoman. Let me tell you the things that I've TaskRabbited recently.
We had them yesterday. at our house.
What did you have them do?
Hung a curtain rod that we just didn't have. They bring lasers. You know what I mean? Like I can hang a curtain rod, but they bring a laser to make sure it's perfect, which I really appreciate because they're professionals.
Yeah, and you bought nice curtains and they should be hung properly.
Right.
I bought some new bookshelves for the boys. TaskRabbit assembled them. I have a mirror that needed mounted. TaskRabbit mounted it. Anytime I need a something, it's a TaskRabbit. When we're going to the Hamptons soon and we're going to have some like furniture that we need to put together, TaskRabbit, because I'm not going to drive myself crazy trying to do it when there is someone who is so skilled and professional at doing
Agreed.
it, and they would love to help us out. So tackle your to-do list today and get 15% off your first task at TaskRabbit.com or on the TaskRabbit app using promo code TheToast. That's promo code TheToast at TaskRabbit.com for 15% off your task. TaskRabbit, book trusted help for home tasks. I actually have a TaskRabbit coming this week because we're getting like a big car for the boys. For like that they could drive around the backyard.
Fun.
Because it was their present in exchange for giving up their pacifiers.
Oh, the Passy Fairy.
The Passy Fairy came, we're like 11 days sober here.
Wow, that's really
We
big.
really did it.
Taylor's
We really did
little
it.
girl just did it, and they say like after 3 days, like that's when they, you know, like they finally feel clean from it. But it was so funny because one of the little neighbor boys.
How old is she? Which girl?
Lola, and she
Oh.
is 3. It was hard because Novi, they're so close in age, and so like she had little sister also having passies, which it's just like harder. I feel like when you have a sibling that also has them, you
Yeah.
almost have to do it at the same time because Passy
We did
Fairy
it at the same time.
can't take passies from Lola and then not take them from Novi, you know?
Right.
And so, anyways, I remember there was this sweet, precious kid in the neighborhood, and the mom was very aware that like Lola had, you know, she was still itching for her passy, right? She's still tweaking, she's still yearning. And so we walked over to the neighbor's house. It was so cute. And she was like, I made sure that, you know, Beck didn't have his passy today so that Lola wouldn't see it. And Beck walks down. Beck is even younger than Lola. He's 2. He has no awareness of this. He doesn't know the Passy Fairy came, right? It was so funny, the timing. He comes down and he has like 6 passies in his hands and he's like, passies. We're like, what are you, a dealer? Like, what is this? This is crazy. And it's the worst timing ever because Lola was like, passies. And we're like, no, stay strong. Like, don't. Like, you got your token for 3 days. Sober from the passy. It's brutal out here, but the Passy Fairy makes it so fun for the kids. And
Yeah,
you know.
it really wasn't so bad. They were addicted, like
Oh yeah.
beyond. I'm sure everybody feels that way. Like we can never get rid of these things. And then when we were in New York last month, like, and everything was just like harder because it was like rainy and, you know, we're in like not our space and they just like want passies all the time. And we had gotten to a decent place of like just using them when they're sleeping, napping,
Right.
or like in the car. But then it's like, or at the table. or
Right.
or-
It's a passy.
Or
It's
in
a
the stroller,
it's a
like-
soother.
So after New York, like we were in a rough spot, and the night we got home from New York was like the night the Passy Fairy came.
Right.
And we've been clean ever since.
Right.
It can be done. And we did it together at the same time. It would not have been fair for one of them to have a Passy.
Yeah. Do you know
and taunt the other.
what I literally said yesterday? Because I got a gorgeous PR package with a bunch of passies, and Taylor's like, hide those. And I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you do with your passies? I was like, when the Passy Fairy, hopefully no children are listening to this right now. When the Passy Fairy takes them, what do you do like with them? Like you just put them in the attic or whatever and she goes, what? Shannon, we throw them away. And I was like,
I know.
oh my God. Like in my brain, I'm like, Mom's hand-me-down, so cute. You've got more kids. And she's like, no. They're chewed on passies.
They're
I was
disgusting.
like, oh wait, ew. And she's like, in the attic. No, we would, for the next kid, we'd buy new passies. I'm like,
Right.
man, that is such a like never had a kid thing to say. Like, what do you do with them anyways? Put them in the attic for the next kid? She's like, no.
Well, what's so funny is Zach orchestrated the Passy Fairy like delivery and removal service, and then I was in the utility closet
Delivery and
in the
removal
laundry
service.
room. I was in the laundry room like a few days ago, and I found the bag of Passies. I'm like, I forgot to ask him, like, why didn't he throw them in the garbage? I think because he was like worried that they might like slip and we
Have
wouldn't-
like a
all
meltdown.
hell would break loose and we wouldn't have one.
Right.
But like we need to get rid of them.
Yeah. It's like a true addict. It's like keeping a stash, like just in
Yeah.
case. Flush them.
So they're getting a cool car to ride around the backyard.
That's
in
very cool.
exchange. Thanks, TaskRabbit, for assembling it.
Shouts out TaskRabbit.
Our fifth and final story, a little book news. This is like some of my favorite kind of news. Gemma Chan is joining 5 Star Weekend series at Peacock. So 5 Star Weekend is a book by, why is her name escaping? Ellen Hildebrand. She is the queen of summer beach reads. Everything is pretty much set in Nantucket. I actually haven't read 5-Star Weekend yet, but now I will. But everything else Helen Hildebrand writes is Parjalish.
I don't think I've read any of her stuff. Name some of her heavy hitters. Name some of her heavy hitters.
Like the one, Hotel Nantucket, Golden Girl.
No. Are they, when I read books, I want someone to die or get fucked. Like I like,
Ooh.
So if no murder mystery, no smut. Like
okay, read Golden Girl because there is a bit of a mystery.
Okay.
Not a lot of fucking.
That's fine.
Like, she really sets a Pargy scene. And I think that even though it's not your typical vibe, like I think everybody can like an Ellen Hildebrand.
Okay.
Oh, The Perfect Couple, which was made into a show on Netflix.
Oh, still never read that, but I know that ended up being a show on Netflix. So maybe I could.
That was bad. It was a bad show.
I did hear that, which is why I haven't watched it. But it's
But that, read The Perfect Couple. I think people are dying and getting fucked.
Wow. Okay, I'm in.
The book is so good, and the show was not, but the book was so good.
Okay, I could get into that. Yeah, I'm not like smut only. Like I'm like a really weird freak that loves Alex Cross.
You are Alex Cross, we know.
So that's really.
You read like James Patterson and Dean Koontz?
No, I don't like that. I wouldn't go that far. That's like my least favorite quality about myself, that I'm like obsessed with James Patterson books. It's just like, it's a fatal flaw that I have because like yucky male authors. And then also.
Who writes Alex Cross?
James Patterson. Yeah.
Did you ever read the book that James Patterson wrote with Dolly Parton?
No, I'm not interested in anything else James Patterson writes. I just got hooked.
Other than Alex Cross?
I got hooked on this one series, not series book, not trilogy. What would you call them? Series?
There's 35 books.
There's like 35. Series. He's been writing them since 1991, before I was born. So like it's also really cool because you see the progression of stuff. Like in the 1991 books, they're talking about beepers and stuff, and then I remember the first book I got to where they talked about like an iPod, and I was like, ooh, now he's talking about iPods and stuff. And I don't know, I just loved it and I got hooked. And then after you read 14, why not get to 35, but they came out with a show, which forever ago they came out with a movie. Sorry, I'm digressing from the Fast Five topic, but
I mean that's textbook toast.
Okay, they came out with a show, which I know that Alex Cross had a movie forever. Denzel Washington played Alex Cross. I still haven't ever watched it. My parents were like, "Oh yeah, we remember when that came out in the early 2000s." Like we watched it in the movie theaters. Still haven't watched that, but they came out with a show, and I was like, "Oh, here we go. Like this is going to flop so hard and they're not going to do it justice. And it's just going to, bleh. When I tell you, I watched it last year during our honeymoon. It is the best show ever. It's on Prime or Peacock. I don't know. There's 2 seasons out. It is so good. The actors are.
What's it called?
Alex Cross. It's about the serial killers and the books and everything. The actor that plays him, oh my God, he's incredible. All the actors, I've never seen them before, really any of them, except for the one like white guy that's like a serial killer. The actors are incredible. They're all so hot. They're all such good actors. I'm like shook to my core. All of it's just beyond good. And they did it such justice. Cannot wait for the next season to come out. It comes out in June. I need to actually follow up on that, but I cannot recommend it enough, even if you haven't read the books. It's an incredible series.
Okay.
Thanks
for the rec.
You're welcome.
I need to tell Olivia she's into stuff like that.
What can I say?
Except you're welcome.
Okay, so this show is going to be made from the book The
5-Star Weekend, which I'm going to read the book. I think this summer I'll have a little bit more time on my hands and I hope to read. The show will be at Peacock as a series. Previously announced cast members will be Jennifer Gardner, Regina Hall, and Chloe Sevigny. And now Gemma Chan. And I feel like even though the other actors like are legit actors and so it's obviously a legit project, like Gemma Chan is incredibly legit and I like everything that she's in and I just like watching her.
Yeah.
So I think this bodes well.
I think this is great too. And usually whenever I'm like, let's see, as soon as they start to throw some like legit actors in there, I'm like, okay, it's probably going to be good. However, wasn't The Perfect Couple Nicole Kidman?
Yeah, Liev Schreiber.
Oh, wow.
Liev.
And it's just stunk up the house.
His name. Stunk up the house.
Well, was Nicole good in it, or was it like a script thing, or like an actor? Like, what was the badness about it? Because I didn't watch it.
I can't remember.
Cheesy.
It was definitely like script and acting and setting was like you could tell it's supposed to be set on Nantucket. You could tell they only really had access to film in this one house, and It wasn't Nantucket. I think it was like Cape Cod. And like it was just giving like there was no setting. It was just the same house, same view. Like,
right.
I don't know. I can't remember what exactly was not good, but it was just like not hitting. And yeah, and then the detectives were like doing like serious community theater. Like it was community theater.
Okay, well, let's hope they're the betterment of this.
But read the book. You'll love the book.
Maybe they took notes from The Perfect Couple and they're like, we can't do that again. Was The Perfect Couple the one that they had the dance? Where they were like, the dance at the end, and Nicole Kidman was like, I am not doing that.
I'm gonna feel this good, but it must be illegal. They played that song on Love Island last night. That's a good song.
Okay.
Shouts out Meghan Trainor.
Meghan Trainor. She does always have a hit coming up out of her sleeve.
Yeah, she does. Are you watching Love Island?
I'm not. I've never watched a single episode of Love Island. The only thing that I did get into via Love Island was the Molly May and Tommy Fury of it all. And it was because of you and Liz Woods. Liz Woods posted when they broke up.
We're sisters in Molly Maydom.
Yeah, I mean, Liz Woods is such a good follow. If you guys don't follow her, she's incredible. But she had posted something when they broke up, like, love is dead, but like in a like really serious way, like not in like a love is dead. Like she was like love seriously very upset, and you were too. And I was like, okay, and I think it's one thing about Liz is she really does pull things out of my brain. Like the next slide was like, if you just watch that and rolled your eyes at Love is Dead, like, might I suggest you watch this 4-minute clip of them and like it will change your mind. I was like, okay, well, I literally did just think that, so I'll watch this. And I remember where I was in an airport and I was watching it and I started crying because like, I can't remember if I was pregnant or not. I started crying.
It was
last summer. Okay, then I wasn't even pregnant. And I started crying because I was just so moved by their like relationship and how they met and like how they stayed together and all this stuff it was all these clips from Love Island. Like when she walks back in and she's like, no.
Yeah, because she thought Ellie Belly was off the bed because she thought he made room for some thought.
Yeah. And she's like, no. And he's like, it's always been you. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like getting really emotional. And I got it. Like I understood it. So then I watched the documentary and I started looking into it more. And I fell in love with it, but I'm also very aware that, and you guys spoke with this yesterday with Jared, that's like a peak season, right? So, but I loved all the clips and all the stuff that we got from last season, Love Island. Now you're sending 3 home. Like I loved that. Is that the last year's Love Island?
I don't know that sound, but probably.
You don't? It's.
No.
I mean, I guess it's really on TikTok. Who is the main girl with the dark hair that everyone loved?
From Leah?
Leah, yeah. She's like making fun of Kendall, the guy, who was like doing like shady stuff to her, the good looking guy that was like the main character that they were dating at first.
Was it Cordell?
No, you watched Love Island. You should know this, right?
Not last season.
Didn't watch last season.
Yeah, that's like, the one season I don't watch is like a mega global success. They're doing a spin-off show.
Yes. The main guy.
I don't know who these people are.
The good-looking guy.
Except I know there's someone named Kaylor.
Kaylor. And the 2 blondes, they're like best friends and stuff. But the guy that has the snake tattoo, who was like the main like fuckboy on the show, but he is really good looking. Leah was like so iconic, always making fun of him. She was like mocking him. She's like, oh, now you're sending 3 home. And like it just became this viral sound because it was just like so iconic. So when I see seasons like that and clips like that, I'm like, I should watch Love Island. But it's much like you and Jared. It's every day. And Margot said, who has the time?
No, who has the time? I was watching last night and I really realized like it's much more passive viewing. Like they pretty much put a camera on them, show their conversations throughout the day. Every like other day is a challenge, and then every other day a new bombshells come, and every other day is an elimination. So it's just like, you watch 5 episodes for 10 minutes of like something big happening, but like that big thing usually is so big that like it justifies all the time that you just spend. So I'm all caught up. Actually, I have been like getting into a cadence of watching it, and it's like still not good, but like I'm entertained, and I'm starting to have like some faves and some non-faves.
Let me know whenever I should, like, if you're like, you need to watch this. And then I love a binge. Like I can sit around and binge something.
Yeah.
What was your pregnancy comfort show?
When I was pregnant?
Yeah, like what was yours? Like Claudia had an aversion to Gilmore Girls. What was your like comfort show?
Oh, when I was pregnant with Harry, I watched a lot. Like that's when I watched Downton. This was more like later in my pregnancy, but yeah, I watched Bridgerton got me into Downton Abbey, and then like Poldark. Tried to watch Outlander, but I was very much like in historical.
I need you. I heard the toast the other day. I need you to give Outlander another chance. I'm an Outlander stan, like to the point that I could I will not bore the crowd. You have got to watch Outlander again.
No, but I watched so much of it.
How much?
I was in season 2.
Really?
So, and I didn't like hate it, but I just like didn't love it enough to keep
Was it getting
watching
too whimsical for you?
No, I forget what my issue was with it, but it never like gripped me.
That's shocking to me. You are of the ilk to love Outlander. It's historical, it's sexy, it's fun, it's great acting. Like, I'm shocked.
Yeah. And then when I was pregnant with Charlie, I don't get to watch a ton of TV when I'm pregnant because like I'm still like doing a lot of
Right.
stuff. I more so have like postpartum shows because then I'm like sat up in bed with a baby.
That's what I meant, I guess.
and
Yeah.
we're watching the telly.
The telly. What was it with Char?
Well, with Harry, it was Ladies of London.
Nice.
You know that's my favorite. Have you ever watched it?
No, but you've got me wanting to.
You should, because it'll make you like even more excited to be married to a British person.
And now I understand stuff. Even when I hear new songs and new shows, or sorry, things that I'd heard previously, I'm like, oh, now I know what they're talking about. Like even Taylor Swift being like Oxford Street and all this. I'm like, oh yeah, now I know what she's talking about.
Yeah. And then for Charlie, it was Love Island season 5 UK. Maybe that's what you should do. Molly and Tommy season. Even though it's all,
Maybe I
like, spoiled.
should.
But it was so good.
Oh, that's great. I've been watching Suits nonstop. Like I'm like really getting through it. And it's one of those shows where like I could watch it, I couldn't watch it. I'm not like, what happens next? But it's just there for me.
That's good. It's comfort.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
just
that's comfort.
it's there for me. And there's 9 like seasons to crunch my way through. So it's a meaty one, you know? Like I'm on season 5 and I've got plenty left to go.
Well, I love that. Well, speaking of someone who's been there for me, Shannon, thank you for being here for me today. Thank you for being here for the Toasters.
Of course.
Where can everyone follow you and get more Shannon all the time?
More Shannon coming to you hot on Instagram at Probably Shannon, on TikTok at Probably Shannon. And I will have my comedy special coming out soon. And I'm not sure where you can find that yet. Most likely YouTube, possibly Patreon, but it'll be really funny. I swear.
Your special is so good. Your comedy set that I came to see you in Florida, you were amazing. Like seriously, I always think so highly of you. I probably would like anything that you do, but I was blown away by you. It was amazing.
Jax.
Like seriously, like your persona on stage is just like crushed it.
That means so much to me. For you to think I'm funny is like the highest of all compliments. So thank you.
Like I always think you're funny, and nothing you could do would not make me think that. But being like stand up funny is just a whole nother level.
It's different.
And I've never seen you in that sphere, so I didn't know what to expect. And you like completely blew me away. So I'm so excited for anyone who didn't get a chance to see you in person to see your show. And of course you have your podcast, Probably
Yes.
a Podcast. So if you want to hear more Shani on the mic.
Shani on the mic, Probably Podcast. I took my mic flag off because this is the toast today, but Probably a Podcast.
And my mic flag is off because I left them at the studio.
Claudia's gonna be pissed.
Well, now because we're not like twinning,
Right.
It's like not a big deal.
Yeah, true. Okay.
But in case you were confused, this is the toast.
This is the toast. And you can find me every Tuesday at Probably a Podcast, except for when I'm on my maternity leave.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We love you dearly and we love ya. Bye.
Bye.